Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Zach, and this is my new to me 2005 LX470 or 100 series Land Cruiser. So I just wanted to make this video as kind of a start of documentation of the build that I'm going to be doing on it. It's not going to be a super fast build, but just kind of over the next couple of years what I plan on doing to it. So right now it's pretty much all in stock form, all the way down to the AHC. But I guess first, before I go into that, just a real quick backstory on me, what I used to own and why I got into this. I used to own a 2014 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. I owned that for a few years and loved that thing. Actually, it was awesome. Uh, and eventually sold that just to kind of help get out of debt and get rid of that monthly payment. And ended up getting a 2000 Jeep TJ, which loved that thing too, just in a different way. Much more retro and fun to drive. Unfortunately, I didn't know that the frame was starting to rust out from the inside, and so I had to get rid of that thing. And then we were about to have our first kid, so I took a little bit of a break from getting any kind of project. And then a little while later, I got a 2005 Toyota Tundra double cab, so a first gen Tundra. Just trying to figure out something a little bit bigger than a Jeep that would work for our family, so that's what I decided on. Really like that thing, but again, that was short-lived just due to rust. I live in Michigan. I moved here about 6 years ago from Colorado. I'm an automotive engineer, and the rust on the Tundra wasn't terrible. It wasn't as bad as the TJ, but what kind of did it in for me is within the first month of owning it, one of the gas straps actually snapped due to rust. And so that was pretty scary. Thankfully, I noticed it in my driveway, and so I didn't drive it after that. Got it fixed up, and then I just got it sold right away. Since then, had one more kid, so we now have a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, and I've just been kind of trying to decide what would be best for our family for the purposes that I want it for. I want to be able to take it camping around here in Michigan with our 2 kids, as well as take some road trips out west, since again I'm from Colorado. I love it anywhere out west, really, so I want to take a lot of road trips out there over the years. So got to have something that's comfortable for hauling the family in, but I still wanted something capable like the Rubicon that I had. That thing was awesome and super fun to drive. So trying to find a balance. Kind of what I landed on was deciding between a 100 series Land Cruiser and a 2nd gen Tundra. I test drove both of them back to back at separate places, and the 2nd gen Tundra just felt way too huge to me. The 5.7 in it was awesome. That almost sealed the deal for me. But obviously the 4.7 in this thing is notoriously, or I guess notoriously is the wrong word, but famously reliable and decently powered as well. You just have the timing belt that you have to take care of. So driving this thing, I actually just fell in love. When I went to look at this one in particular, I didn't go to look to buy, actually, just with the 240,000 miles. It was a little bit higher than I thought I was looking for. I was kind of looking for the $10,000 to $15,000 range. So I was hoping for a little bit less miles than that. But after I test drove it, I actually just fell in love with it. It's been super well taken care of. The inside is in very good condition. It has a couple of little things, which I'll go over in just a second, but it had full service records from a Lexus dealership its whole life. I am virtually the second owner. The real second owner only owned it for about 6 months and maybe a few thousand miles. And so just with that history, and it still drives extremely well, very nice inside. So I decided to try to convince my wife to drive the hour with me to look at a vehicle with this many miles, and she was a saint, and she came with me, and she didn't really fall in love like I did, but she also didn't mind it. So I ended up driving it home a couple weeks ago. So I guess that's the backstory. That's why I got it. So now let's take a look at what we got. Okay, so far, what do I love? I love the size of this thing. It's perfect for our family of 4, and even if we ever decide to get 5, the back seat is roomy enough. We can still make that work. As most of you know, it comes with the 3rd row. And I have those seats. They're just sitting back in my garage. But the size of it is just perfect. It's very, very roomy inside. Plenty of room for a family, yet it's still a good size on the exterior that'll fit down pretty much any trail you point it down. So that's really great, and pretty much exactly what I was looking for. The other thing I really like, which surprised me, is that the AHC, or adjustable height control, actually still works. And I don't know how long that's going to keep going. I believe all the shocks are brand new within the last maybe 40,000 miles. But the globes are kind of what worry me, because as far as I know, those are all original. But anyway, I'm going to do a AHC fluid flush and just kind of try to drag out the life of it as long as I can, just because I like how it rides. When the time comes, though, I'll see what kind of suspension I want to swap into it. But those are the two things that I like about it so far. What I do not like is this high of miles in Michigan means there is rust. And from everything I've seen, none of it's too bad. So here's the rear. Ow, the ground is super hot. Can't stay down there too long. The frame is in really good condition, so it's really just kind of the axles and the suspension components have their share of surface rust, which if you live anywhere in the South, you're gonna see this and have a heart attack, but this is just kind of par for the course here in Michigan, unfortunately. So before this winter, I will be planning to knock off as much of this as I can, paint over it, and get some fluid film on it, and then just do that religiously as long as I live out here. The other thing, or one other thing it needs, is either new CV axle shafts or just boots. This one is leaking pretty bad. The other one isn't quite as bad, but it's getting there. So I got to do that. The wheel bearings are due for a repack. As soon as I got it, I got the timing belt replaced, the timing belt and water pump. I got the whole kit done at a shop. It had been about 100,000 miles since I did that, or since it was done on this vehicle, I mean. So I got that done right away. Beyond that, I'm going to try to do most of the work myself, as much as I'm able to. I got this as a third vehicle partly for that reason, just so I could work on it myself and not kind of feel time constrained by needing it up and running. So the shop also did an AC recharge while it was in there, and unfortunately it went warm again shortly after that. But thankfully I found out it's just the AC lines going to the rear that are leaking. So the third seat back here has its own climate controls, and those are kind of notorious for going bad, either the lines or condenser. So the lines, at least we know, are leaking, and that'd be about $700 at the shop. And if the condenser needs to be replaced on top of that, that's another $300 to $500 probably. So I'm just going to cap those lines myself. So that'll be a project I'll get to here in the next couple months. Just the other day, I replaced these hood struts with some cheapo $25 Amazon struts. They're 160 OEM, which just wasn't worth it to me. So I think those are all kind of the major things I need to get to, besides just, oh, the other thing, I have these coming tonight actually, is if you know anything about 100 series Land Cruisers, you need to replace these heater tees frequently. Every 100,000 is preferable. I don't know that these have ever been done, which worries me. So I actually have those coming, as well as just the 6 heater hoses themselves. I'm just going to replace the whole thing while I'm at it, because a lot of times those heater hoses will crumble as they just get time and miles on them. So I have those coming tonight. That'll be a project I'm working on in the next week or two. So that'll be nice just for peace of mind to get that done. So after that, after kind of all that catch up and preventative maintenance and kind of rust protection stuff, what am I working on next? I will be working on putting some kind of rear storage organization in here. I can do that pretty cheaply, and so I plan on doing that first, just because the other mods I plan on doing will be a bit more expensive, and I'll get use out of this right away when I am bringing my family on some camping trips and stuff. So I'll be doing that. Then I will be getting some tires, going with some 33-inch, probably mud terrains. And after that, some rock sliders. and then a front winch and probably bumper while I'm at it, and then a rear bumper. So those are kind of my plans for the build. And then I'm sure a bunch of just kind of little things here and there besides that. I'll start it up real quick for you. Like a charm. So thank you for tuning in. And like I said, this isn't going to be a quick build. It'll be over the next couple of years, but just kind of wanted to document it and bring you along for the ride. And as I start going out on some more adventures with the fam, try to get some footage of that so I can put that up here for your enjoyment. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.